professional rodeo clown, bullfighter, and barrel man. I've been in this business a long, long time. I've been all over the United States, Mexico, Canada, lots of places. I've had opportunity to advocate for a lot of different things and a lot of different products all over the United States, but I don't. I like to make sure that I know what I'm putting my name on. And I'm gonna tell you something, I'm putting my name on this one. It's a very, very good product, and I've proved it to myself. I've seen the results of these horses being on it, and the fact that I can take it myself, and I have been. I've been beat up all over the United States. I've been beat up everywhere, every kind of way. I've had a lot of aches and pains, but pills that I take, the Optimize pills, you take them 3 times a day, 3 pills in the morning, 3 at noon, 3 at night, and they've really, really made a huge difference in me.
From Oak Point, Texas, the Tokyo Tex, the Sukiyaki Jockey, the Kamikaze Cowboy, the Man of Trail, Tim Kimura. And from San Antonio, Texas, a man.
Share this episode right now.
On his mind.
Let's
the
go.
Man behind the wheel and keeping it real, Brad Jewett. We thank you for joining us tonight on the Keeping It Real show. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe right here on Facebook to the Keeping It Real show. Please enjoy tonight's show.
All right, everybody, welcome to a live edition of the Keeping It Real show. We've got, of course, Tim Kimura in the house, actually literally in the house here in Boerne, Texas. We're glad he's here. We've been shooting, along with Marcelo, we've been shooting some new videos for the Horse Show Network. So make sure you're staying tuned there. If you're not a subscriber there, just go to horseshownetwork.com, become a subscriber, check out some of these great videos. I know a lot of you have done a lot of the clinics with us. This is just a way to be able to stay in tune and keep your skills. What do we talk about? Practice with a purpose, right? So this is just a way to be able to help you continued education while you're at home. Tim, how are we doing over there? Uh-oh. There he is. Are you there? Oh, no, we lost Timmy. Okay, so I guess I'm in control of this deal, everyone. He's texting in. Timmy, did we lose your connection? So we're on the same ranch, and the man has lost connection somehow. All right. So tonight we have a show that I've been waiting for ever since Marcelo has told me that, hey, do you know a guy named Leon Coffey? I'm like, what do you mean, like the Leon Coffey? I know a bullfighter, rodeo clown named Leon Coffey. I said, I was like, oh, no, it must be another Leon Coffey because I'm like, how is Marcelo getting connected with this guy? Anyway, long story short, we have the Leon Coffey with us tonight, and just so excited to bring this to you. So Tim's texting me. There, he's coming back in here. So I'm just so excited to bring this episode to you tonight because there's such a story behind my whole livestock that not upbringing, but how I decided to get into the horse industry. And Leon roundabout way is, man, I got that glare right in my screen, don't I, Marcelo? Sorry, buddy. Sun will go down here in a second. It just absolutely how God puts people in your lives and in your path. They don't even know it, that help create who we are as people. So anyway, I'm excited to bring that. Okay, Tim, are you good now, bud?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know where it went.
Sweet. All right. Well, Tim, is there anything you'd like to say now, buddy, now that you're on?
I want to just say happy Easter, everybody, and I'm still doing my tour. I'm going to Connecticut this weekend, and I'm excited to talk to Leon tonight.
Oh my goodness. It's going to be awesome. And I'm going to, as soon as we kick in here, Marcelo, and Tim starts to ask you questions, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up and block that. And so you can put Timmy on a full screen here in just a second. Sorry for all the technical difficulties here at the beginning, but we're about ready to roll. Are you ready to bring Mr. Leon in?
Sure.
We got a lot to talk about tonight, people. Let's roll. There he is. There he is. Now you can brighten up our picture, man. We can bring the man in and take over the show now. Marcelo, I'm going to let you put Tim and Leon in here. Well,
There you go. Leon, can you hear me okay?
You bet. I can hear you great.
Again, I mentioned during the pre-show that I've got to meet you when I was a lot younger, back in the days when I was judging and stuff. And it's such an honor to have you on tonight. I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
I think just when we talked at the beginning, it's fun to go back in time and remember things we did when we were a lot younger and faster, right?
Here
we are. Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Let me just start.
Memories are about the only thing that you got left. Your speed and your agility and your youth goes away, but those memories, they stay forever.
Like a lot of times when I interview people, I think it's interesting. Our life is so fast that we don't have time to think about memories sometimes. So I think it's really cool when I interview people. I said, stop and look what you did with your life and how it went. And, we're very blessed to have traveled and do the things we did. And we're still healthy enough to talk about it, right?
Yeah. So, one of my heroes was Larry Mahan.
Yeah.
And somebody asked him one time, they said, Larry, what is rodeo to you? He said, I wouldn't take $1 million for what I've done, but I don't think I'd give you $1 to do it all over again.
Right.
That's about the way it is.
I love those old sayings like that. There's so much in such a little saying like that. You're like, oh, that's an interesting way to look at it, but it makes tons of sense.
Well, I've seen a lot of your interviews and everything. I know you have a great appreciation for your father and your grandfather and your mother. I was just wondering, can you touch on that a little bit, like how they raised you, or what you were doing when you were young, and what like I remember some of the things, because I'm a little bit younger than you are, but how your parents, they do things for you and you don't get it till you're a lot older.
Well, that is so true.
Like there's stuff that they taught you, good stuff that they had, and until you're like 50, 60 years old, wow, you know what? I give them credit that they did teach me those things back in the day. So tell me about your grandparents. Yes, sir.
My granddad was a Baptist minister, and he trained horses and broke oxen and mules for the highway department when they made roads with mule teams and Fresnos, which Fresno is a mule-drawn bulldozer. And so he trained them oxen and he trained mules, and we trained hundreds of horses. And my granddad was basically the vet for Blanco County for a number of years and didn't have a third grade education, but he knew horses, and he could get stuff to work and figure horses out, to figure out why something is not working, that it worked on another one, and why it's not working on this one. And he's a big trial and error kind of guy. If it didn't go one way, he'd go back the other way, And so he'd figure out stuff, and then he'd remember those things, and then he'd tell you why. I was the littlest of the herd, so I got to ride all the colts and young horses. And most all of them bucked a little bit. But my granddad had them snubbed up. He'd let it out there a little ways and just jerk them back around. So I had to learn how to ride bucking horses at a young age,
All right.
But he could see ability in those horses and what lead they were on, and which way they wanted to go. He taught me how a horse's lead tells you if he's right-handed or left-handed. If he's going to stand out in his left lead all the time, he's going to be a horse that wants to run around a track going left. If he stands there in his right lead, he's probably going to want to go to a calf or a steer or something, or he's going to be a rodeo horse. But it just depends on what you want to put that horse in. And that horse will tell you what he wants to do at a given point in time in his life. He'll tell you, all right, like I've got a mare right now that's out of a own daughter of Firewater Flat and a oh oh man oh my God, I can't even think of the name of her daddy yet, but he's a big gray horse, a big nice stud horse, and I mean a good song gun. Been to the finals, and they're both barrel horses. But when I started this mare, I drive everything like my granddaddy told me. He said, just if you can get them to drive, if you can get them to let you walk behind them and you drive them as you're going, you can be able to ride them a lot quicker. So I drive everything at 6 months old and then start working them and get them used to a little bit of everything. So I let one get all tangled up and never let him get excited. I just don't get excited. Just let them do what they need to do and then go get them out of it and then show them, okay, it's okay. And but I was working this coat and I after in the arena and I just touched my reins like that and she just squatted in the ground. I went, uh-oh, she's not going to be a barrel horse. At that point, I knew right there, and I got me a calf roping horse right here. But she told me what she wanted to do. And I had a little old grazing bit on her and just barely bumped her, and she just dropped it, and tucked her head and dropped her butt. And I went, okay, now I know what you're going to do. I've got another horse, another coat out there, and I wanted him to be a roping horse, and he is just not going to do that. He wants to be a barrel horse, and he loves it, but he told me what he wanted to do. And I don't put horses in positions that they don't want to be in. My nephew, I bought him a horse one time that was a barrel horse, and she did not want to be at all. So I bought her and I got her started here at the house. And in 6 weeks, I had him roping on her. And in 2 months, he took the mare and he's been gone on her 20 years now. But she did not want to be a barrel horse. She said, no, I hate this. But when I stuck her in the box and run some cattle on her, she just went to squatting in the ground like, okay, I can do this, Wow. So, but that's the kind of stuff my granddad taught me. My dad, we shot a lot of horses. He taught me how to enable a horse to be shot. You got to give him an opportunity to get used to what you're doing, why you're doing it, and let him know it's for his betterment. Now, that's a little hard to do on a lot of horses, but all of my horses, I start young enough to where by the time they're 6 months old, we're picking up all 4 feet and rasping off and doing the whole 9 yards. But my dad, when I was young, he had everybody's little outlaws. I mean, and outlaws. They would kick your head off, paw you right on top of the head. They were terrible. But my dad taught me how to handle those kind of horses and be able to get by them. And that was quite the little deal. And so they were very influential in what I did and how I did it and the lessons that I've learned. And I've used my lessons with people that there's a judge right now that's in in an association close that here in Texas. And he had a fellow me a horse that he couldn't stand still very long, especially if there was any loud music or fireworks or anything. And I went in there and I said, let me handle him for a second. And I got to handling him. I got him calmed down and they set off the fireworks. And I showed him how to do that. And he just looked at me and he said, you're a pretty good horseman for a clown. So, I appreciate that.
Well, that's interesting because that's what I'm hearing at the beginning of all this, right? Is you were just a young man, young boy, whatever, at whatever age, trusting your grandfather, your father to just get on, do this, do that. But at the whole time, you're learning skills that you didn't know at that point what you'd be needing and how to read an animal, whether it's a horse or a mule or a cow or whatever it may be. And so, and hearing you talk, it's similar to what I do, because we do multiple events within our industry. And so this horse will make a good trail horse. That horse will make a good Western rider. That horse will make a good showmanship, or that, it's so and when you have that ability to be able to do that, it makes the horse's life much easier in doing a job that they like, and they'll do it for a longer period of time and bring more joy and enjoyment to the rider or whoever's showing it. So that's awesome. And amazing at the same time that you're just like an open book. Like, yeah, just teach me. Like, and to have that trust. And I'll ask you, and I think I already know the answer, but hey, would you say you're meant? I mean, like, who are your heroes in life?
Let me tell you something. I was inducted into a Hall of Fame with a guy that I have really researched and followed back on his career. And his name is Chris Cox. Mm-hmm. And the guy does stuff and figures stuff out, and he does it in the manner that my granddad did. Yeah. And that just impresses me to no end, because Chris Cox he is a horseman.
You bet.
Not everybody can be that. When you're a kid and you learn, I mean, you're getting told stuff, you just kind of throw it in one ear and out the other.
Right.
When it becomes a way of life, that's when you go to digging back, go, what did my granddaddy tell me? What did he do about this? What did he do about that? Well, you will remember, well, he did this on that horse. You may try that on that horse, but on this horse you got right now, and it may not work. But he says, right, well, he did something else to another one. You just got to piecemeal them together to figure out what you need to do to get that horse to perform right the way you want him to, when you want him to, and make him like it.
Absolutely. And that shows up, as Kelly mentioned here just a little bit ago. So true. Best farriers understand the horsemanship part of it too, right? Because, anybody that works on my horse, whether it's my veterinarian or my horseshoer, you can tell, like, one shoer will not have an issue holding the horse's leg up, and the other one will sit there and fight with it. I need to give it some drugs. I'm like, I don't think so, And so that's something that is just always, some people just are good at their craft, but they lose. In our industry, being a horseman is paramount, in my opinion. If you're going to be working around horses just to stay safe, you can read them, you'll stay out of trouble a little bit more, right?
Let me tell you a little story. When I was 13 years old, my dad had us out there, and we had these old wild, crazy horses, and boy, settle them down and get the rasp in their foot and stuff, and he'd take the shoes off and rasp them down a little bit, and he'd rasp his foot off. Well, I picked that horse's foot up, and he was jerking me around. My dad just stood there and looked at me. And I can't get my rasp even to the foot, my dad just stood there and looked at me for a while, and he said, you want me to show you how to do that? Now, throw that rasp down. Yeah, show me. I got mad, He just said, watch this. He picked that horse's foot up and held him about that far off the ground, and he never moved. Just the positioning of that horse's leg made him not want to. He didn't like that. But if you held him low, you could scratch him off, do whatever you wanted to. But I was holding him up on top of my knee instead. No, you'd get him down here. Well, it wasn't comfortable for me, and I wasn't the patient. It's what I realized. And when my dad said, if you hold him down here, it'll be all right. Yeah. Well, I got so mad at my dad for doing that. I couldn't see straight. But I felt like he made a fool out of me, Yeah. Actually, he taught me a lesson I've never forgotten.
Exactly. I can attest to the same thing with my father. It's exactly. Absolutely right. Tim, do you have anything to add, buddy? I know.
Maybe take us from learning to ride and starting rodeo, and then how does that get you your first job as being a rodeo clown?
Oh, wow. in high school, I, we roped calves, and uh, my mother did not want me to rodeo at all, and my dad would never go against my mom for one of the kids. He always made sure there was unity. And boy, I one Sunday morning we was having a Easter Sunday morning roping out there at the place, and boy, I was out there roping like crazy, and then I get on one of them calves and ride him down through there, and my mother looked at me and says, "You're not gonna be doing that. You're gonna be sitting around somebody's office with a white shirt on and a tie."
Oh no.
And that was the first time in my life I ever denied my mother. I said, "No, I'm not. No, it ain't me."
How'd that turn out for you?
My dad did not correct me on that, and I went, "Uh-oh," because I didn't know I didn't know what he was gonna say. He never said a word, so that allowed me to know, well, maybe I can do that. Really,
Right.
he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, but I knew what I wanted to do. But my mother did not like it at all, and so I would sneak around and ride and enter high school rodeos and rode bareback horses and bulls and rope calves, and I'd sneak around and get in them so that my mom wouldn't know about it. And finally she found out about it, and the fertilizer hit the ventilator.
That's good.
Yes, that's a very polite way of saying it. But the fertilizer hit the ventilator. And so I was determined that I was going to do it. And when I went to the Army, I wound up in the 1st Cavalry Division Horse Platoon at Fort Hood, Texas. And I'd have never in my life thought I'd have been in the Army riding horses, but we were General Shoemaker's recruiting unit for the United States Army. So we went all over the United States. I performed before 3 different presidents.
Wow.
And so it was a pretty cool deal. And I learned a lot, traveled a lot. And when I see the 1st Cav Horse Platoon now, I go to them. And my dad and I, this one will really kill you. My dad and I broke 4 mules for the United States Army, Fort Hood, Texas, 1st Cav Horse Platoon. We brought them here to the house, and they had never been touched by human hands. They tore up everything. But we finally got them mules broke, and they wanted to take them on the bicentennial wagon train. So I got on the bicentennial wagon train with the United States Army, 1st Cav Horse Platoon, and that wagon, and we drove a team of mules from Houston, Texas to Valley Forge, Pennsylvania on the 40
Oh my
line.
gosh.
Yeah, that was quite the trip.
How long did that take?
We started February 14th and wound up 4th of July. Mooney Lynn was the wagon master of the Tennessee wagon train. And that man taught me a lot because they had big mules over there. I mean, big mammoth mules out of big thoroughbred mares and then big blue-nosed mammoth jacks. And it was hilarious to look at them things because I told Mooney Lynn one time, I said, "You got to have a whole cow to make a halter for one of them." You know, his heads were that big. I mean, they were huge.
Wow.
But those guys taught me a lot about how they work mules and stuff. But
yeah, because mules are a whole different animal. You know, horses, mules, don't like that's a whole different deal going on there, you know. Wow.
I've got a mule that I had for 40 years called Matilda, and she performed in Mexico, United States, and Canada, and she's now in the Texas Rodeo Cowboy Hall of Fame. But she'd lay down, roll over, sit up, fetch a hat, take a blanket off her back, did all kinds of things.
No kid.
But my dad and I trained her, but it took a solid year to get her to work. And my dad told me, he said, "Look, to work a mule, you got to use reverse psychology." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Whatever you want them to do, you got to make them think that that's exactly what you don't want them to do." I said, well, that means that's outsmarting myself. I don't know if I can do that, you know. So it got to be a game,
Yeah.
to see if I can get her to work, and she would. I mean, she worked every time we walked in that arena. So
That's awesome.
that was
So,
my dad's teaching on my dad.
Right.
so when did you start being a clown? How'd that come in? How did you go from rodeo
Hey,
to rock?
real quick, Leon, before you go there, is there a difference between a bullfighter and a rodeo clown?
There is now.
Okay.
When I first started, you had to be everything. You had to be a bullfighter, a clown, a barrel man, everything.
Okay.
And when Mike Moore and I started, we started out with Cecil A. Hill. We started out in high school rodeos, going to them and just messing around, playing with it. But we never really did anything. We rode a lot of bulls. We just rodeoed in high school. Then I was ahead of them, so I got out and went to the Army. And when I came back, Mike Moore was fighting bulls for Cecil A. Hill. And he said, why don't you come over here and do this? You know, all you had to do is run fast and act goofy. I said, wait a minute. I used to get kicked out of school for that. Now you're going to pay me for that? Yeah, okay, I can do this. So Mr. Cecil A. Hill had me hired at Georgetown, Texas. And the guy didn't show up, so I was there, and he said, "Why don't you go to work for it?" I said, okay, you bet. I was still in the Army, and so I kept Ben Gay and Johnson tape business for about 2 years, and then I decided to learn how to do it. But that was basically a dare, and come on, let's see if you can do it. Well, I could run. I wasn't scared of much, so it was a challenge, and it was a big game of tag. And I was like, okay, let's see who can beat each other to that bull rider, that bull of me. And then it just became a game, something that I'm a competitive some guy. I mean, I want to win.
I think you'd have to be in that, especially.
Oh yeah, and in this business, I look at it like this: them bulls are 8 foot long, got 4 feet. I'm about that wide and got 2. They're cheating, so I gotta beat them, and that's the game. Because you got to beat a bull to a cowboy, and then get him and you out of there with the least amount of injury to either one, because you saved one, but there's 10 more. Right. So you've got to be there for all 10 of them. And that's where it got to be tough, because you had to be tough enough for the first one and the last one.
Well, yeah.
And in some of them bulls back then, they had what they call a fear factor. And that's the fact that they would hook you. They would hurt you real bad. So that was a game.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, Tim, while we're paused, should we do our rapid fire?
Yeah, sure.
I think we, Marcelo, I think we go to OptiWise and talk and let's see the OptiWise commercial. When we come back, and I apologize, Leon, we didn't tell you about this, but we have a little deal we call rapid fire. And so I got 10 questions, and as short answer as you can get, we get through it, and it's just a little fun we have. But Marcelo, if you've got that queued up, let's go ahead and run that commercial. When we get back, we will talk rapid fire questions with Leon, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about the now his career going from riding rough stock to actually trying to control them and keep cowboys safe, and all the fun rodeo stories that we look forward to getting into. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Leon Coffey, professional rodeo clown, bullfighter, and barrel man. I've been in this business a long, long time. I've been all over the United States, Mexico, Canada, lots of places. I've had opportunity to advocate for a lot of different things and a lot of different products all over the United States, but I don't. I like to make sure that I know what I'm putting my name on. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm putting my name on this one. It's a very, very good product, and I've proved it to myself. I've seen the results of these horses being on it, and the fact that I can take it myself, and I have been. I've been beat up all over the United States. I've been beat up everywhere, every kind of way. I've had a lot of aches and pains, but pills that I take, the Optawise pills, you take them 3 times a day, 3 pills in the morning, 3 at noon, 3 at night, and they've really, really made a huge difference in me.
All right, you hear the music. It is rapid fire time with the one and only Leon Coffee. We'll start you off kind of easy here, I hope. Let's get warmed up here. First question. When and where did you go on your vacation in the past 3 years? Did you have a vacation?
Haven't had one.
Okay, well, that's a fair answer. If you're in the livestock, if you have livestock, that's a very normal question. Okay, that's a good answer. That's a short, quick, rapid fire. Number 2, who are 2 people you would invite with you to go on a trail ride?
Wow.
Can be anybody. Can still be alive or somebody from the past. It doesn't matter.
Phil Line and Buck Steiner.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Question 3. What is a term or phrase you often use when you were coaching young bullfighters?
Get bad or go home. That's all there is to it. You got to get bad or go home.
I need to have you come over. I'll pay you to come over here and coach some of my people. I love that. Okay.
This is my favorite saying to all of them.
It's gonna be good.
Oh Lord, have mercy! Let's go on. Let's go on. I'll say that one later.
Maybe that'll come back up later in conversation. Okay. Next question, number 4. What's the weirdest question one of your fellow bullfighters asked you while you were in or out of the arena?
Thanks our questions.
Yeah, I like it.
One of my great friends, Rick Chapman, was working the bull riding with me in Denver, Colorado, and he was working one side and I was working the other, and he was facing the crowd over here, and he looked at me and he says, "Hey, look at that redhead behind you." And I went, "What?" So I turn around and look at her, and about this time, this bull rider jumps out there and he hangs up, and we get to the bull
my gosh.
at the same time, and he looks at me and he goes, "I'm gonna try that one." I went, "What are you talking about?" So we're having a conversation doing a hang up. And it wasn't about the hang up. And
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Too weird for me.
That's a great story. I love it. Okay, question number 5. What was your favorite act that you performed at a rodeo?
Oh, wow. I did my mule act in Casper, Wyoming, and it was a muddy arena, and Butch Lim Cooler and Rick Chapman mimicked my mule act, and it was the funniest thing ever. And people are still talking about that in Casper, Wyoming. Mike Servey, God rest his soul, has never let an act go that long. And this was so funny. It was just hilarious. Hadley Barrett was my announcer, and one of the greatest ever lived.
Yes.
And he was crying up there about this act. So, yeah.
I love it. Loved Hadley. Okay, question number 6. Who was your favorite bull rider to watch?
Denny Flynn.
Denny Flynn.
And why?
Because I saw him ride Red Lightning,
Yeah.
Bull of the Year in Palestine, Illinois, for 98 points.
Wow.
And when I saw him do that, that bull kicked over his head with his feet right straight up in the air, and Denny Flynn, all I could see was the belly of that bull, and I started to that bull, and I said, "There's no way he can ride through this." he come down and around, and he's still sitting in the exact same position. And I started to him 3 other times, and I just backed off and said, let him have it. There was no way that man should have rode that bull that night.
Wow.
That bull was unrideable, and he rode him like padding for a dance.
Wow.
That's awesome. Very good story there. All right, question number 7. What band did you listen to when you were young? And name one of the favorite songs by that group.
You're not going to believe this, but it's Willie Nelson.
There you
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah.
go.
What's your favorite song? What was one of your favorite songs anyway?
My heroes have always been cowboys.
Yes. Yes. Of course. Question number 8.
Mhm.
Name a coach or mentor that you have admired or have learned the most from.
Oh, wow. I'm going to have to say this. There's no one person that I've learned the most from, because I take something from everyone.
Mm.
And I don't take one person over somebody else. I take a little bit from everybody to get who I am.
That's awesome. Great statement. Great statement. Wisdom right there. I love that. 2 more questions to go, Leon.
You're getting
All
it.
right. Number 9. What was your favorite bull to work with?
Well, you had to go there, didn't you?
Are you thinking of all the stock contractors' names in your head right now? Like,
Oh, man. There was, okay. Steiner's had a bull called 9+, and he had more lateral movement than Lawrence Taylor, the linebacker for the Giants. He could come to you, and most bulls will come to you in the right lead or the left lead, and you can change them.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get a bull to go, if you want to get around one, if he's in his left lead, you make him change to the right and then make him come back. So that gives you about 3 to 4 foot to get inside. This bull came to me doing more changing of leads, and I just went, okay, stop, I quit. I'm the one supposed to be doing that, bull, not you, you know. So 9+, I hated him, but he was a game changer for me, because I knew if you don't do it right, he's gonna hurt you.
He's a humbling bull, huh?
Oh, yes.
Awesome. What was his name again?
9+.
9+. I'm gonna see if I can find a YouTube video on 9+. I love it. Okay, last question. Name your favorite breed of bull to work with, if you have one.
Wow. That's a loaded question, because they were all crossbred bulls. Red Lightning was a big Brayford bull that Cecil A. Hill had, that Bobby Steiner got and made him the bucking bull of the year. Savage 7 was a bull that Steiner had that was a little Hereford looking bull that was crossbred. There's not a breed.
Is there a cross?
That it's a cross, what we call a F1 cross, or Brangus. Them F1 Brennels, they just had more. Them Tiger Stripe Brennels fought more than anything else, and they knew how to catch you. So I don't know how the ability of them bulls were better, but they had athletic ability than, say, some little Black Angus bull. He was too long and too short-legged to catch you.
Yeah.
Them Brennels were longer-legged, longer-bodied, but they had the instinct to hunt you down.
I love it. Great question. Well, there you go. You did your first rapid fire with Brad and Tim. You did great. You did great. Okay, Tim. Let's get back into your notes here, buddy. We'll try to stay on course, man. I know I always take it off course a little bit, but I'm gonna let you lead us down the path here.
Like this. So I'm always the gutsy one to ask questions like this. So I'm curious about, the situation. you're being black, I'm Japanese, we're into a white little industry, it feels like. Were you treated any differently? Like they treat me right. Everyone treats me right. That feels funny being a different color. I'm yellow, you're black. But did you have anything at the earlier years, like in the 80s and the earlier years like that?
Oh, yeah. The times were different.
Yeah, for sure.
I had a picture hanging up on this wall here that I had, but I started off rodeoing with Cecil A. Hill, and I was so scared that I used to paint my whole face white and then put the other makeup over the top of it, and I paint all the way down to my neck and put on white gloves. And one day I was in Wimberley, Texas, and I pulled off them gloves, and a lady said, "Oh my God, he's black," and fainted. Really? And that changed me. I said, "Oh no, I can't do this now." So I stopped doing that. Yeah, there's been. I'm gonna tell you something. Ray Charles could see that I'm black. Okay. But I've always said it like this. Not one bull rider ever said, "Don't send in the black guy, send in the white guy."
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
You're only judged on your ability.
Yeah.
And this is the one sport that I don't care who you are, what you're doing, it's your ability to do your job is what you're judged on, not the color of your skin. Now, it comes into factor sometime with certain people, and that's nature.
Sure.
But I've never dwelled on it.
Yep. Me neither. Yeah.
Why?
Right.
Right.
My granddaddy told me a long time ago, he said, "Son, you can carry a color on your shoulder, but somebody's going to knock it off." He said, "You're black, and that's all you're ever going to be. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Go on with it."
I so get that for sure. Okay, so thanks for answering that question. It was something I really wanted to ask. But how about, we talk about things changing. How's the safety and the care of the animals and the care of the bull riders and the care of the rodeo clans? How's that changed in your domain, like in your 30, 40, 50 years?
When we first started, there was no padding. You just got, you went around, and if you got hit, you got hit. I've had 143 different breaks. I've had all the ribs on both sides broke, my neck broke, my arms broke, all the fingers in my hand broke, my foot broke. Bulls have stepped all over me. I've had, you name it, I've had it done. When I saw Miles Harris wearing a motorcycle vest, I just looked at him like, why would you do that? But he showed me an ability to take care of himself better than anybody else had. So that's where I said, something, there's something to that. There's got to be a reason a guy that I look up to is wearing that vest. I knew I could fight bulls, but I couldn't fight bulls like Miles. Miles was a superstar at it. There's quite a few of them guys: Miles Harris, Skipper Boss, Rick Chapman, Rob Smets. There's a lot of great bullfighters that I looked up to. And when they started wearing all of this stuff, I went, okay, I'm going to try that. But I couldn't move like I wanted to in it. I just couldn't bend, or it was slowing me down. And I just depended on my speed and just basically outrun them, or just tough enough to take what they gave me. Nowadays, these guys have got vests on, they've got leg braces, they got knee braces. I've had 14 knee surgeries and a knee replacement. These guys have got knee braces. I mean, I had the CTIs in the 70s, and CTI braces. They were blue and great, but every time you have a knee surgery, they give you a new one. So I had a trunk full of them. But that was the only thing that we wore until I locked both of them up one time running from a bull. I locked both of them knee braces together. Boy, that bull hooked me really bad that day.
Boy.
But that was one reason I said I'm done with that.
Yeah.
And if I was able to go without it, I would. But about the time that all of that came in is when I decided, yeah, I'm too old for this. So I decided I was going to get in the barrel, and I didn't want to stop rodeoing. So I decided I was going to get in the barrel and still be in the game, but not be up front.
Right.
And the fact that I felt like I had lost a step was one
How about-
reason that I didn't do it.
When you were younger, okay, back in the day, I was going to ask you this before the show. Like, as arenas change, like the rodeos go from arena to arena, do some arenas unsafe versus arenas like let's say Cow Palace? That's one I can use. Okay, I thought the fence was short. There's 3 wires on there. You guys used to grab, and I could see the bull going over the top into the moat. Right?
Oh yeah, and they did, and they did.
They did. You're right. They did because we were there. But I'm just saying, did you have to check the arenas, like where you're going to jump to get out of the way and feel the fence and stuff like that? Did you check that?
No,
kind of
because
stuff?
if you're the first one on the fence, you got to buy the beer. Isn't that what I heard on one of your?
That's it right there. Let me tell you something. It was man up time. If you went to the fence, you scared, and there was so much pride and precociousness in all of us that, yeah, just try me. You know, you had to bow up to be the man.
Yeah.
And in this business, you had to bow up a lot, because if you went to the fence, fence is not your friend.
Right. Okay.
If you get hit out there in the arena, I've always advocated this to my students. If you know you're going to get hit, get your feet off the ground, because there's no friction.
Right.
Friction is what breaks bones. Okay. When you up in the air, I can push you all over the place. If you jump and push you 3 foot away, it don't hurt. But if your feet's on the ground, I'm going to tear up an ankle, a knee, a hip, something's going to hurt. If I'm in the air, I'm just getting pushed around. It's like learning how to take a punch. Nowadays, they have studied and worked on these bulls and how to fight bulls so diligently that I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of guys right now that are fighting bulls that I couldn't carry their cleats back then. I mean, there's just no way I couldn't carry their cleats, but they've evolved into that from what we were. Mm-hmm. We were just tough guys, had to go in there and try to make something happen. You're the guy that has to take all the punches. Yes, sir.
My question then is, where was the worst situation you got into, and how did you get back into the arena after you got hurt?
A bull in Kennewick, Washington, hit me on the right side of my face, and I'd had it rebuilt from the Dallas State Fair, and it was such a traumatic blow that my brain told my heart to stop beating, and I literally died 5 times in that night. And wow. I woke up in the hospital, and they said, "You all right?" I went, "Yeah." Oh, my face all swelled up. Doing pretty good. Why? What happened? And so I went back that night when they let me out, and I said, "I'm getting out of here." And I walked out, and I went back to the rodeo, and my eye was all swelled up and everything. And I said, I'm tough enough to go back in there. There's a thin line between bravery and idiocy.
Yeah.
And I erased it. But the problem is, I went back in there, and sure enough, there was a hang up, and I started to this bull, and I got there looking at my left eye, but when I needed to look at my right eye, it was closed. And I mean, this bull gathered me up and did beat on me for a while.
Gosh.
And I walked out of that arena and said, "Take me to the airport. I'm going home." And I did. But getting back in the arena after that one, it was scary, but I had to prove something to myself. I had to prove to me that I could do this. And I said, God, if you want me, you're going to get me standing straight up because I'm going back in here.
Oh, great. Scary story, but great story.
Yeah.
Wow. Courage it takes. Wow. But that you leaned to the right place. You said, God, if you want me to, I'm asking you to do this and I'll do that.
Yeah.
So,
You know, I used to keep God in my back pocket. When I put him up front, things got to going a whole lot better.
Yeah, you bet. Absolutely.
tell me,
Hey, could I throw in a quick, it's kind of a rapid fire question, but I may already know the answer. You may have already said it. Who was your favorite rodeo announcer to work with?
Hadley Barrett.
Yeah. It had to be Hadley.
Yeah. Okay, let me explain that to you. I've worked with a lot of great ones, a lot of them. I mean, every announcer is the master of ceremonies at a rodeo. He has to talk from the beginning to the end. He's the master of ceremonies. So I've respected all of them. Hadley Barrett laughed at everything I ever said. And I said, how do you do that? He said, Leon, that allows your audience to laugh at you because I okayed them to laugh at what you just said. He gives them clearance to enjoy. And that's the one thing that set him away from everybody else. I love Bob Tallman. I love Boyd Plavins. I love a lot of guys.
Yeah.
But Hadley Barrett was undoubtedly, without any question, the best announcer I've ever worked with. Now, I've worked with the guy that worked the National Finals Rodeo in 1959. I can't think of his name now. He used to work San Antonio.
Oh, gosh.
I was great friends with Paul Harvey.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, man. I can't think of his name now. But look that up.
Okay, I will.
He was a guy that came to me and says, "You're the freshest thing to come to rodeo in 30 years." And I was sitting there going, okay. I'm scared to death of him, but he was a good announcer. He was one of the greats. But I got to work with him. I've got to work with so many, but my undoubtable choice would be Hadley Barrett.
I'm looking up rodeo announcers in San Antonio.
So my next, great. I love that. I love those announcers you're talking about. You know what I'm curious about is, let's say not the twilight of your career, but like deeper into your career, like what motivated you to have the passion, desire to keep going and out and doing it again? And I don't know if what's motivating you, where do you get your passion, desire? And then plus, here's the second part of it. How do you get your people skills for entertaining the public?
That's very, very simple. Not everybody can put a smile on a face. When you can do it with your audience being 8 to 80, and it becomes a challenge to see if you can. Like I said, I'm very competitive even with myself. I want to know I can put a smile on her face because I take a lot out of my cup, but putting smiles on faces puts all of that back in my cup. That's where I get my energy to go because I look at somebody and just give them a little and I want to see them crack. I want to see that face crack into a smile. And when you can do that,
so
it's a gift from God.
For sure.
Well, and Tim, I don't know if you noticed when we went down to the Spurs game, I think it's still on there that Joe and Harry, your picture's still up there on the side of that building, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I worked San Antonio Rodeo for 39 years.
Yeah.
One of the greatest rodeos I ever worked. And there's a few rodeos that stay in the top 10 of everything, the top 5.
Yeah.
And I've worked them all. Yeah. And somebody asked me one time, which one's your favorite? And I looked at them and said, do you have kids?
Well,
Which
good, because
one's
I
your
won't put
favorite?
that into my line of
No,
questions
no, I
tonight.
love them all for different reasons. I worked Saturday Tone for 39 years, and it's nice to have a picture up there. I have a lot of friends and a lot of memories there, but I'm not done yet.
I
So
love it.
here's my example. Okay, so I do something that's with the public. Okay, I design courses and I go out there and do a good job, and they get excited because you're so great, you did good, and you make them happy, right? So I'm wondering, when the faucet stops and slows down, do I still need that energy? That does my ego need that stroke that much, or am I going to be okay if I stopped, right, and not clinic so much and don't go out in the public? Is there a transition for you after you're not doing so many rodeos and staying home closer to home?
Let me tell you something. Man told me one time, he said, "Man, you're a hero." I said, "I can't be. My wife still makes me take out the trash."
Yeah, I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
Tommy Steiner told me something one time when we were fighting bulls with Steiners, and boy, I got to thinking I was God's gift to the bullfighting world. Tommy Steiner walked up to me one day and put it to me as simple as it can get. He said, "Son, you need to quit reading your own press releases."
Yeah, I get that.
Okay. So that's it.
But
you're only as good as your last performance.
right.
I just ain't had it yet.
Hey, real quick. So I got Hadley Barrett, Randy Corley, Wayne Brooks. Those are the three that have come up on my.
1959,
No,
the
19.
first National Finals Rodeo. God Almighty! I can see his face. I just can't call his name right there.
Okay, wait. You gave me. I missed the date earlier. Let's see what comes.
How about
Talon, Cy Talon, Pete Logan. No, that
Pete Logan.
Pete Logan.
Pete Logan.
Got it. All right.
there you go. Good job, Brad.
Pete Logan. Awesome. Hey, can I just share my story real quick about, and it'll take 2 minutes, Tim, that I shared with Leon a little bit when we first got on, and how people are influenced. And Leon mentioned about, he learned things from his father, his grandfather. You didn't know, you just let it pass through you, and you didn't know how you'd use it later in life. And Leon, being the man, really became maybe one of my biggest reasons for going to the rodeo every year, because he put on such a show. And if you've never seen one of his shows, you gotta YouTube it and look it up, because this man can dance. I mean, he can do he can fly over a bull. I mean, he can do so many different things and still do some of the stuff we still want to try to get to, as far as helping these bull riders not just stay safe, but enhance their performances in a way. And it's so much skill and talent and athletic ability. But this guy put on such a show, and every year it would draw me to the San Antonio Stock Show, because I was raised in the city, as many as you know, not out in the country, though I wanted to be working with animals. And so that's, I would go down there, and then I'd end up watching the horse show a little bit, see all the cattle, see everything else. But then, at the end of the day, you go in the night performance, you go and you watch Leon Harrell. Although there are the bull riders and everything else there, that's what I went to go do. I wanted to go watch Leon Harrell and put on a show. And as many times as we could go in a year, I'd go. So I just wanted to mention that's why I told Leon when I said, I got to get over my starstruckness at first, because it is just such an honor to have him here. And if you guys don't know anything about him, you've got to look him up, because the man is an amazing entertainer.
Okay.
Thank you.
So another question, because this is Brad's question, so I'm bringing it in and make sure we talk about, like everything we do in the field, I don't want to call it a trick, but there's things that we can do to enhance things happening, right? If you're clever enough to understand the rules of the game and balance, and you could read the bulls, you're in a position to make or break the bull or the rider, right? Don't you agree? Can you share some of our?
I know you got stories that go both ways, so you better be sharing them tonight.
You just opened up a can of worms right here now. Let me tell you why.
Something generic.
Something generic. You can be out there in front of every bull in the world, but if you make one mistake, you can buck one off. You can buck a guy off so easily because he's going this way and you just show up too early or too late. And that bull jumps out of it. And that's the reason that all bullfighters and barrelmen are to stay away from the bulls when they're bucking for the 8 seconds at the National Finals Rodeo. Because we want them bulls and the cowboys to have an equal shot at each other and not be interrupted by something else in the arena. Now,
so what you're saying, Declare, and I'm going to let you keep going. At all the other rodeos, except for the National Finals Rodeo, you guys that gate opens, you can be there, you can direct, you can steer, you can help, or whatever you want to call it. But at the National Finals Rodeo, that gate opens, you guys have to step back.
You cannot be in the way of that. And that was a rule that was brought in many years ago. But at any rodeo, Bobby Steiner would have me turn bulls back like you would not believe, and a whole lot of them. But once they knew how to do that, they were looking for me and I didn't have to be there. So we taught them to be bucking bulls before they sent them to the finals. Yeah. They were looking and going, where is he? Where is he?
Yeah.
That is a part of teaching these bulls to be the athletes and buckers that you want them to be. You have, if you can get one to turn back right here and get out of his way, there's an art to doing it. You can step in there and get a bull to look right here and then just move out of there. But the art to doing it is catching with his hind feet, with his front feet off the ground. When you bring him down, he's coming down. And when he goes back up, he can go back that way. But you bring him down and around and then you leave. It's an art to doing it, because if you catch him with his front feet on the ground, he can go away from you. If you catch him with his front feet off the ground and bring him down with you, you can put him in your back pocket.
You know, that's going to give everybody watching that I don't know a person that doesn't love to watch good bull riding, but it's going to give everybody watching a new perspective. Like when I started studying up on you a little bit and hearing some of those things, I was just enthralled. I'm like, now I want to go watch a bunch more bull ridings and see how, like you said, you get him at the right spot. You put, because it looks like the bull's almost chasing the bullfighter, right? And but you don't realize that's what's happening, but that's actually what it looks like is happening. But you're like, that can't be the case, right? But so you're basically bull training for Steiner.
Yes. Well, what you're doing is you're directing the change that you want. A bull can be going down, he leaps out of there and he leaps out of there to the left, and you want him to go to the right. You got to catch him in the air and bring him down to the right.
Yeah.
And when you do, you're changing his lead. Now you better hope he don't get out of that.
Right.
Okay.
That's where
so
you
when
want
a bull turns out of there to the left and you want him to go back to the right, he should be a right-handed bull, which means he stands in his right lead most of the time. When he's relaxed, he's a right-leaded bull. If you get him turned out of a left-hand delivery, you get him to leap out of there and hit the ground right there. But that second one, he's going to come back here. Now you can shorten that distance from where he went to where he's going, and bring him back into the buck and shoot and make him turn back quicker. That's harder to ride and more points.
There's got to be some timing in there, right? Because I think one time I heard a story, you telling a story about somebody tells you you're too fast. Because you were in there.
Chapman told me one time, he said, when you turn these bulls back, you're too fast, they never see you.
Yeah.
I was sitting with, what? He said, they don't see you. Okay, I want you to think about this, okay? A bull's eyes are on the side of his head. This eye sees this way. This eye sees this way. there's an anaconda of immunity right here. There's a triangle right here that he can't see you. If you go to look at the Mexican matadors, when they standing there with their hand on a bull's head and you standing there in the middle of him and he's not moving and you got him stopped right there, he can't see you. He knows you're there, but he can't find you. Because this eye, the tighter that bull's head is, the shorter that anaconda of immunity is. If he's a big, wide rental head that wide, he's out here. He sees down here and he sees down here. If you get in the middle of that, he can't see you. When I was dancing with bulls, I knew what their anaconda of immunity was, so I could get close enough to drop down and do my splits in front of one.
Exactly.
Because I knew where he was going to see me.
That's
and
cool.
I knew that if I throw my hands out like this, he's going to look one way or the other and find me. So I dropped straight down. He couldn't find me. You knew I was there, but he's struggling to find me so he could come get me. If I made a move that made him turn his head either side, he was coming. Those are the little tricks that you don't
love
get.
it. I heard a story about you with the guy in the barrel, and he'd tap the barrel, and he'd lower the bull's head so you could jump over the top of him. Like that, again, like this intrigues me because it's animal training, right? And it's just so awesome to be able to hone your expertise to your eye, to your feel. You know, there's movement involved, there's signaling, there's all of this stuff that we use every day too. And so all that just intrigues me so much.
So using that example, is that like when you guys use the barrel, okay, and you sit the barrel's down and you're dead centered that bull, but he can't see you because you're too in front of him?
No. When you got that barrel down there, you're close enough for him to catch you, and he's going to hit. A bull ain't going to hit you with the middle of his head. He's going to hit with one horn or the other. And when he does, he turns his head and he can find you.
I see.
Now he knows where you are. He's swatting at you with this horn or that horn, and he knows that, oh, you're right here, right here. If he came right straight on to you, he couldn't. Let's put it this way. People always say bulls will chase red.
Right.
Bulls don't chase red. They chase motion. If they chased red, you could paint a tree and they'd run into it. That's not going to happen. Okay? That's just not going to happen.
Still object. It's not moving.
When you see a bullfighter, I went to Mexico, Monclova, Mexico, and I caped some bulls down there years ago. So many years ago. When them matadors bring that cape through there, they make sure that cape never gets in front of their body and to have a differential between that red cape and their outfit, because he'll see that and he'll go back to it. So you got to drag that cape through there and roll it over and bring it back through with him behind that and go on past you before you roll it. Those are little tricks and stuff. If you go find a matador book, they have all of those things mapped out in there. How to do them, what they're called, and the whole 9 yards.
That's cool.
And I'm a student of the game. I wanted to be good because everybody else that was there, Miles, Rick, Smith, Skipper, there was some great guys. If I wanted to be in that herd, I had to do something good enough to be there. And I became a big student of the game to find out how I can be as good as they are.
Yeah.
Because they wasn't sharing all them secrets.
Right.
This was a school of hard knocks you had to learn on your own.
Okay, so here it goes. So is there such thing as a rodeo bullfighting school? Okay, I'm sure there has to be something, right? Is there something that kids can go learn this craft? B, is there such thing as like an athletic bullfighter that's not very smart? He's more athletic than he is smart, okay? Because he hasn't learned the hard knocks thing, right, that you're telling me about. Because a smarter bullfighter seems better than a more athletic bullfighter. No?
Okay. I'm going to start with this. bullfighting is outmaneuvering a bull in a small space. You cannot outrun one. They have 4 feet. They can run 40 miles an hour. The fastest man in the world can only run 30, and I ain't him. I can get caught running straight away. The way to get away from a bull is to outmaneuver them. They're like a wheelbarrow. Before you can go back that direction, you got to put his hind end all the way around. A bull's motor is in the back.
Right.
With his hind feet off the ground, he can only take 2 steps. With his hind feet on the ground, he can go in 360 different directions and 8 to 12 foot in that direction. Okay? Those are the things that are locked into your brain when you step in the pen. You make a mistake, you pay for it. There's a lot of great bullfighters that know how to do it in a short distance now. And they're not fighting them big bad brindles, them big swamp angels. They're fighting a bunch of little Mexican fighting bulls that are heat-seeking missiles. And your moves have got to be deliberate, quick, and now. Not a half a second slow, or you're going to get caught. You're going to get caught. And these bulls hit you in places that take you off your feet. Them big brindle bulls, they'd hit you in the back of the head or in the shoulder and knock you almost down, but you still had your feet under you. Crooked Nose and a bull named 141 of Harry Bowles had big long horns, and they'd sweep at you like that, and they'd clip at your feet. And they knew how to catch you down here to bring you back and get you off your feet where they can catch you. There's a lot of bullfighters that had a lot of ability to get away from them, but didn't know what to do while they were there. So there's been a lot of bullfighters that were running for their life, and not really know what they're doing or how they're doing it. Yeah. But most of them.
Okay, so I use our examples of horse trainers in our industry, okay? Sometimes the younger ones don't want to hear from the older guys. They don't believe in them. They're saying, you're too old. What would you know, right? So they don't want to hear the experience factor, right? Well, I'm wondering, does that happen in the bullfighting? Well, you're so slow, I wouldn't want to hear from you what you're doing. What can you tell me? You know, you're too old and slow, and I'm fast and quick and athletic and agile. I probably know everything I should know. Do you see that in the field?
We don't get a chance to get to that position. When you are not able to fight bulls anymore, you're gone.
Oh, really?
Okay, you don't get to try to keep playing with the kids, because, like I've always said, I quit fighting bulls because I knew I had lost this stuff, and I am not vain enough to stay out there and get somebody hurt because I was too vain to leave.
Right.
In this business, you had better be good, or you're not going to be there very long. The cowboys are going to say, we're not getting on if it's him out there. We're not doing this. We're not doing, no. You've got to be good enough for the people that you're working for to want you to be there. So the young guys don't get a chance to critique the old guys because they're just not there.
Yeah.
And I'll bet they go back and they watch some of your old video stuff. I mean, I'm sure just studied. I'm sure there's students of the game, just like in our world, you know, that are coming up that there's not every young horse trainers the way Tim's talking, but there are some of those that, like myself, that guys that have gone long before me that I still pull out a lot of their old VHS or those deals when they were teaching, basically doing the same thing we're doing. Our stock's just gotten a lot better, and there's no need to reinvent the wheel. You just do what they did. You just got a little bit more feel, a little bit more horsepower.
Okay, I got one more.
Go ahead, Leon.
Let me say this. The wheel was once square. It's now round. Okay. The evolution
yeah.
of that
Yes.
tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah. That's
We
good.
will want square wheels. Man, the more they roll that wheel, the rounder it got. For long, that wheel is running so fast you can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
But you don't forget where you come from.
Right.
You know that there's some angles in here that if I go here, those angles are still there. They're just minimized.
So,
Go ahead.
well, my last question, I'm curious because you have this horse background, mule background, oxen background. Is there something I call it horse whispering? Is there an animal whispering? Is there something that you guys have or people have, good bullfighters have, that have good energy that could read the bull or think like the bull or communicate with that bull? Like, what that mother's thinking, or how he acts, and it's just his mannerism, not just left lead, right lead, but how his brain works. I mean, is there something connection if you scout these bulls good enough?
When I walk up there and look at the bulls and go, there's a I walked up to Sammy Andrews' bulls up there at his place not very long ago. We was doing a commercial for OptiWise, and I looked in there and I went, I said, here come see you. He said, yes, he sure will. Knowing the look of that bull, knowing his attentiveness. Bulls don't fight because they're mad. They fight out of a herd instinct. The deeper that herd instinct is in that bull, the more he's going to want to fight to get back to that herd. I can walk through a whole herd of bulls and none of them hit me. But if you take one of them out of there, he's going to try to kill you to get back to those. That's the fight that puts in a bull. Mexican fighting bulls, the cows put the fight in the bull, in those bull calves. They make them, when they hit the ground, they know they got to fight to live. When the big rodeo bulls, big brindle bulls, they got to have that electric look about them, and you go, oh boy, you make the wrong move on him and he's going to wipe you out. But you got to know how to control his movements. I told Lance Britton, one of my greatest students I ever trained, great bullfighter. He called me one day and he said, I got this bull. And we were at Greeley, and I said, come on, let's go look at some film of him. So we went and looked at film of him, and I said, okay, I'll tell you what to do. I said, you take a bandana and you put it on your ring finger, put a hole in that bandana and put it on your ring finger. I said, when they turn that bull out, you wait till he gets to your spot and you move your right hand. And then you stand dead still. Nobody had gotten around this bull. I don't even remember what the name of this blue bull of Benny Butler's. He was a bad dude. He moved his hand to the right. The bull followed that motion, and he let him get completely by him and stepped in that hole where that bull can go around him, and he never broke a sweat and ate this bull alive and went around on him. Just because he was that electric and I knew how to move him.
Yeah.
Lance had a bull in Nampa, Idaho, and he came to me and says, man, I can't get over this bull. Lance could stand flat-footed and jump straight up there and let a bull run right smooth underneath. Standing flat-footed and do it. So this one bull was catching him because when he leaped the ground, he was doing this. He was leaping up at him. He was catching him every time. I said, okay, Lance, I'll tell you how to get over him. And I let him go. Yeah, I didn't tell him. I let him. The rodeo hadn't started. So right before the bullfight started, I looked at Lance and said, Lance, come here. He said, what? I said, I've taught you how to use your hands. Push that bull's head down and leave. He said, really? I said, yeah. Push his head down and leave the ground. When that bull started to him, his hands are right here, and he did that, and that bull dropped his head, and he went straight up there, and that bull ran right smooth under him. While he was in the air, he looked at me in the barrel and goes, yeah!
That's awesome.
That's knowing how to manipulate the movement of that bull.
Oh, cool.
Isn't that great?
It's an awesome story.
Yeah, that's cool. Wow. Okay, how about the conclusion here? Like,
Yeah, definitely want to get to that piece. And right before we do,
Yeah.
can I just say, like, today my veterinarian was out here today, and I said, hey, we're gonna have Leon Coffee on the show. He's like, oh, no kidding. No, Dr. Dutton's my veterinarian. He's like, I think I worked on it. Like, is his wife run barrels?
Yeah.
Is your wife run barrels? I said, I think I was out there a while ago and looked at and worked on some of his horses.
Yeah.
And so I just want to give it an opportunity before we kind of, one of our closing questions we like to kind of ask, but to talk about your wife, talk about, do you have children?
Oh yeah, they're all grown and gone. Thank God.
All gone. Any of them following near your footsteps?
No. I took them rodeoing while they were young, and they enjoyed it, but they had enough. They had tell you a fun little story right quick, and I'm gonna be done with this. I was leaving, going to Arkansas one time, and I get a phone call, and the teacher says, "Hey, Mr. Coffee, we need to have a talk. Your daughter about Leanne." I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "Can we meet?" And I turned that truck around, went straight to the school. I get in there and I go, "What's wrong?" She said, "Well, Leanne is having these fantasies about being in Nampa, Idaho, Calgary, Alberta, Fort Madison, Iowa, Sydney, Iowa, all these different places over the summer." And I just looked at her and went, "Okay." And she looked at me like, "What do you mean, okay?" I said, "Evidently, you don't know what we do." I said, "I picked them up on the 31st of May every year, and we're gone. We buy their school clothes in Filer, Idaho, so that we can have their clothes ready for them when they get home. So we leave there and go straight to the house and drop them off and put them in school, and I'm back out there again." So they have been to all of these places. She said, "Well, how does she know every state bird, every state capital?" I said, "Because let me tell you why. There's a Rand McNally map."
Rand McNally.
Back then, we didn't have computers or iPads, so I had them
Love it.
create the map to go from one rodeo to the next. Every one of those little dots on that map is an exit. They knew every exit. They knew every state bird. They knew every state capital. And they knew how to get me from here to there. That was a lesson that kept them busy.
You bet.
Because they were part of the crew getting us down the road.
I love it. I was very familiar with Rand McNally. My parents would pack us up. We'd go to Ohio every summer, and same thing. Here's your map. Help us. Where are we going to go? Which way are we going to go? How long till we're out of gas? Exactly. all that kind of stuff.
They knew how to calculate miles on the truck we're going, the wind, how much wind was going to be. They knew it all, but they could do that. Yeah. And this teacher just thought there was no way that my daughter, 10, 12 years old, would know all of that. Yeah, she did. Yep.
Okay, so my questions at the end here. One, what do you think your legacy is? Okay. And then, what would you want to be remembered? I kind of know what I want to be remembered is when I retire or quit or I slow down. And then, what's your most favorite accomplishment that you've done through your career?
Start with A.
What's your legacy? I'll go slowly.
Okay.
Be proud of something.
The fact that I could entertain.
Yeah.
Chuck Sylvester ran the rodeo in Denver, Colorado for years. And he told me one time, he said, "Leon, we hire you because you're not the best bullfighter, but you're the most entertaining bullfighter we've ever had." He said, "You have a rapport with the crowd." Mike Serby told me one time, he says, I keep you around because you put butts in seats.
Right.
And my legacy is that when I work, you're going to remember it. You're going to remember it. I want to be able to touch somebody in some way. And there's a lot of kids. I signed autographs at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo this year because I'm not in the arena. And it was one of the greatest things I believe I've ever done, to be able to sit and visit with the people that I've touched. And that was one of the greatest feelings and humbling feelings, to know I've touched that many people.
Amen. Well, you're sitting across the screen from one right now, and I'm thankful to add to that memory for you, because that's a great legacy, and you have succeeded at that for sure. Tim, what's B?
Well, I'm going to switch. I mean, he's kind of answered all three in that little part right there: the legacy accomplishment, and what he wants to be his proudest moment.
No. Accomplishment, maybe. I mean,
what do you think? Okay, what's your most prestigious, or what not prestigious? What moment that you did or helped that you're very proud of? Like when you sit here and talk to us, man, when I did this or I did that, I helped this person, or I did this show. What goes through your head when, man, I was real excited to do that.
Okay, I'm going to tell you one of the most humbling and satisfying and scariest thoughts I've ever had in my head was I had to go to the Guthrie, Oklahoma rodeo. Guthrie, Oklahoma rodeo at the Lazy E in Guthrie, Oklahoma, the week that they blew up the federal building. And everything that I had, every act I had some kind of explosive in it. So I knew I was not going to be able to do that. So I found a pig and trained a baby pig in 5 days to do the act that I wanted him to do. And in doing so, there was a lot of people that came to the rodeo from Oklahoma City. And I was sitting at my trailer one day, and A.G. Myers and Ed Gaylord and all of them came to my trailer, and I looked out the window and I went, oh my God, I'm getting fired. What happened? What did I do?
Yeah,
Everybody, the whole office was standing outside my trailer. And I'm going, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? I'm scared to open the door. A.G. knocks on the door and I open it up. What's wrong? He said, well, we want to tell you about something. And I said, what's that? He said, there was a lady that called the office and told us this. She said that she had lost a loved one in the bomb blast in Oklahoma City, and the doctor had told her to get away, go somewhere and try to find a relief. And they brought her to the rodeo. And she said, I didn't think it was possible, but Leon Coffey made me laugh. In their worst situation, I made them forget it. And that was the greatest compliment I've ever had in my life, was at Guthrie, Oklahoma.
Wow, that is... I love that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, in this world,
my wife is probably choked up right now listening to that story. That's a great story, Leon.
Is there anything, I always ask this type of question, what would you tell younger bullfighters, like the future, next generation, like young ones, not inside the game yet, but people that want to do that, or thinking about what advice would you give as a mentor? Like, you should do this, or you better be brave, you better take care of yourself. What advice would you have for that?
Take up golf. No, no.
There's a lot
Let
of
me
guys
tell
out
you.
there like you. What about the guys that are out there like you?
Okay, what I would say is go to a school to learn how to do it
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
If you don't, you will create bad habits that are hard to break. Bullfighters like Dusty and Miles and Skipper and Smets, they teach these bullfighting schools and they teach you how to do the right thing first. You can get into some very bad habits very easily, and they're impossible to break. Go to a school and learn how to do it right before you put yourself and someone else in jeopardy.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake in your line of work, you know.
Yes, a whole lot.
Bull riders, bullfighters. I mean, in I'm sure there's many that probably have told you, but many that probably haven't, that are so thankful for you still really being engaged with the industry, whether it's going to Houston Livestock Show and signing autographs, which, you know,
Do you
what,
enjoy being
well, hold
home?
on one second, Tim. What I hear is it's every question that we've lobbed at you has been about people, not a, you know, and I'm listening to Tim's question. What have I? And I'm like, I know how Leon's going to answer this. I think I know him well enough already in this hour and a half that your whole career has been about others. And man, what a testimony to you. And you
I'm
know,
gonna stop
you
you right there.
go
I'm gonna
ahead.
stop you right there. An old man told me something one time I've never forgotten. He said, the most important word in this world today is the word others. He said, if you think about others and others think about others, sooner or later it's going to get around to somebody thinking about you.
That's right.
If you take care of others and others take care of others, it's going to work its way back around to you.
Mm-hmm.
So the most important word to me in this world is others.
Well, good. That's the message that you've been preaching to me tonight. You know, without talking about that, just everything that I've heard come from your mouth, you know, from your childhood to, you know, it was about your dad and your granddad and all the people, your mother, you know, all the people that have influenced your life, and, you know, the Cowboys, the announcers, like all of that is just deflected upon what they brought into your life and not the other way around, you know, and there's been a lot. I know you've got things behind you, pictures. You're in the Hall of Fame. I mean, there's so many accolades that have shown that, like I said, is this come back, just like that gentleman said, right? Others, it will find its way back to you, right? And man, what a great way to be able to kind of bring our show tying into that, right? As I see everybody commenting on that same thing, like, yeah, that's exactly right. Tim, did you had something you wanted to say now?
I can be there. I was now. I'm going to ask you, like when I got older and stuff. Like when you go out and ride a horse again, it's kind of fun. You know, it's a full circle, right? I mean, like now I ride, there's not so much pressure, right? You go ride, you get on, you enjoy what you're doing, you know how to do it, you just kind of do it, and there's no pressure, and you have fun a little bit. Before it was always serious, and now like when we get older, you know, they don't expect so much from us. So do you ride and enjoy riding your horses and stuff?
I rode a horse last night, and this morning I had to get up and take more optimize, you know. And I did. I took more than I was supposed to, but you can't overdose on optimize. So
Nice.
I took more and I feel better. I took it early this morning. The boy about 2:00. I was saying, yeah, I'm feeling good now. But you have to realize that pressure is a privilege, but to know that privilege is a privilege now. you don't have to pressurize yourself to enjoy that privilege.
Right.
You know, you've been there, done that, bought the T-shirt. You know, it's gonna be. I tell everybody, it's really hard to entertain a clown.
I like that.
So throw your best stuff at me because I've been there, done that.
Right.
You know,
For sure.
so
Oh, that's good.
I'm
it's
glad that you-
just life. Ain't nobody gonna get out of it alive anyway.
For sure. For sure.
That's
Okay, Bradford. I'm going with that.
well. You know, we've covered a lot, but there's still so much more to really dissect. And Leon, thank you so much with all the wisdom that you have about the industry that you've been a part of for so long. The fact that you're willing to talk about it, and I can see you love talking about it. And I have to say, your memory is impeccable. Oh my goodness! Like you remember names and dates and time. Like it's
In there.
it's been so awesome, and I feel like I understand it. The way you explained it, I understand it, and it for this guy sitting here, I love rodeo, but now it's more so, right? Like now I understand it better. And I mean, what a better what's the word I'm looking for? Advertisement, I guess, than somebody that's been in the middle of it all. And all they're doing is talking about it. They're not even trying to sell you on it, and you're buying it, you know? So it's just, it's absolutely been a true pleasure tonight. And I wish we could do 3 or 4 more episodes. But, you know, like I said before, if you ever get an opportunity to come by the ranch, I'd love to, we can sit out on the porch and, I can pick your brain some more because it's just awesome. I mean, I've used that word a lot, but it has truly been an awesome night for me for sure. And I know my dad's probably going to pick my brain about it too, because he's been a huge fan of yours forever too. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. Please tell your wife thank you for letting us have you for a couple hours. And thank you everybody for watching. Those that are going to watch later on the replay, we thank you so much. Please like, share, subscribe, Keeping It Real, Horse Show Network, and go check out Leon Howard. Do you have a website, Leon?
Oh no.
No.
I look at it like this. If I gotta advertise now,
Yeah, right.
I didn't do what I needed to do.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. But you know, and he did mention a little bit, and I told him we'd talk about OptiWise. But obviously there's a ticker going at the bottom here, and we thank OptiWise for what they do for Leon. And what a testament. Guy that's been a bullfighter for as long as he's been, and then riding rough stock and all that. And this guy's memory, his health, he's riding horses. OptiWise must be a pretty dang good product, man.
Let me tell you something. Like I said, I don't put my name on much stuff. I've had Wrangler, Coors, and a few others, but for me to put my name on something, it better be right. a product that works. You because bet. A man is only as good as his word, that's and if his word's no good, he's no good.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? Those are great words right there to end the show right there, because that sums it all up for sure. Leon, thanks again. Marcelo, you can take us away, and we'll catch you on the other side here, Leon.
Just stay right there. Just stay right there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.